calling the Riverside Township Board of Trustees meeting to order, and please rise. And Trustee Clark, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk Blau, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark,
Present.
Trustee Drapka,
Present and accounted for.
Trustee Lumfer,
Present and accounted for.
Supervisor Wilt.
Present.
Let the record note, Trustee Hollenbach is not in attendance, and that Clerk Blau is.
Thank you very much. You have before you the minutes of the, first off, the September 10th Board of Trustees meeting. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I have a motion by Trustee Clark.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Trustee Lupfer to accept the minutes as presented. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We have the minutes of the October 1st committee meeting of the whole. Once again, they are here for your perusal.
I make a motion to approve the committee of the whole meeting minutes on October 1.
I have a motion by Trustee Drapka to accept the minutes of October 1st committee of the whole. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a second by Trustee Clark. Are there any additions or corrections?
Yes. Leanne, under Trustee Clark on the second page, the table we're going to use, well, I have there's only going to be 2 round tall cocktails.
Okay.
So we can use linen for that, but the others might be plastic.
Okay.
So I don't even know,
Well, why don't we just strike that from the
Yeah,
minutes?
can we just strike that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We're also looking at some of those high-top tables
Okay.
to purchase for the town hall.
Thanks, Trustee Clark.
All right, any other additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the minutes of October 1st, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you. Communications.
We have a lovely thank you note from Cheryl Bennett, thanking us for loaning her medical equipment for her mother, and she made a donation to the Riverside Township. It's a very, very nice thank you note.
Went to the food pantry.
Pardon?
It went to the food pantry. I'm just filling in.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you. It doesn't say that in there.
No,
I
no.
apologize.
No, you didn't know that.
Girl Scout Troop 51401 thanked us for letting them host their holiday and bake sale at the town hall. The sale was very successful, and we could not have done it without your support. Another very nice
Was that
note.
planned? It was a planned event? Because I don't remember,
Well, they didn't need a board approval because they
Oh,
weren't
okay.
serving any food. It didn't fall into any of those things. It was just a community group using it.
Okay.
And they did it the same day. Unfortunately, they did it the weekend of the car show that was pretty much rained out. But they had a lovely collection of items. This room was packed with holiday stuff. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. It was great.
oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, they had it very nicely organized, and then I think they had like a bag sale or something toward the end, so.
I'm
yeah.
sad I missed it. The last communication we received is from the Golden Agers of North Riverside, thanking us for their generous $5,000 grant. And that concludes the communications this evening.
Thank you very much. No action to be taken, so on to, are there any visitors' remarks?
I will take the opportunity for that.
welcome to the assessor.
Thank you. I'm Fran Sipkowitz, Riverside Township Assessor, speaking in that capacity tonight. So things that have been going on in our office, we are waiting for decisions by the Cook County Board of Review from the last round of appeals. I'm hoping the Board of Review will be mailing those around November 1st. I would like to remind taxpayers that if they did not file for their homeowner exemptions for 2018 or prior, that they can still file for those through the certificate of error process. And we are just trying to get things in order, organize the office in anticipation of our reassessment next year. So I've been encouraging communications with the Cook County Assessor's Office so that we can get as much information as possible up front. Hopefully, I can get it in time to have an outreach before Thanksgiving, because then usually when we're reassessed, it happens in January, and so there's really not much time once the holidays are over with to do that. So I'll keep the board posted if I'm able to get that in by the end of November. And that's what's been going on in the assessor's office.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the assessor? Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
All right, the supervisor's report, I gave you a little written copy just so you'd see, follow along a little bit. Most of what's been going on is all preparation for the anniversary celebration on November 2nd of the building, that is. But Farmers Market is winding down. Tomorrow's the last day, and I am going to make an early round, but I'm also going to come back at the very end of the day tomorrow to make sure that all the vendors can collect and redeem the vouchers that they get. As of today, before tomorrow's turn-in, we had 61 vouchers that were used out of 180 that were distributed. We always reminded people of them, but we only have that encounter with most of them on the day that they pick up food. And those who took advantage of the benefit, we've gotten comments from a number of them, and they were very pleased with what they were able to purchase with them. Then there were a few kind of unusual issues lately. Last month, I filed the audit report that we had approved, as well as then the annual treasurer's report, which is that one-page summary that is in the back of your books under the FYI. I'm presenting you with that as your official copy of that, but it has also been published both in the newspaper. It's posted on the bulletin board out by our office, and it also has been put on our website, and that is that one-page summary of the receipts and expenditures. But after I filed that item, it was that last item, I got a call within 48 hours from the treasurer's office acknowledging that they received all the reports that we had submitted, but they said that we had failed to do an electronic filing. All right, tell me what it is. Is it that report? Well, at first it sounded like it was one of those reports. It turns out there is a report that is required since 2014. Is not high on the radar anywhere, but it's a county report, and it's a debt disclosure ordinance. For us, because we have no outstanding bonds, we have no other kind of debt, the only thing that really has to be dealt with there is our pension obligations. But because of that, all of that is within the filings that we've done with both the state as well as the county. But this is an online questionnaire that, you know, and it asks for the page reference to actuarial figures and things like that. So I have reached out to our auditors, and they do that for a lot of other government entities, and did not ever recall doing it for us, although the woman who called insisted that we did file it in 2015, and how we would have done it without the auditors, I'm not sure. But anyway, it is in the works, but I just want to alert you that there will be an additional bill from the auditors, even though you probably thought that we were done for the year, but it's been budgeted for additional reports that might be necessary, so not too worried about that. More troubling was that last week in reviewing the bank statements in preparation for this meeting, and of course as they come out, I found a debit of a relatively large amount that I didn't have any supporting documentation for, and it purported to be a pre-authorized debit to Best Buy. We reviewed all of the things that we were supposed to be purchasing under grants and so forth, thinking perhaps one of those was done that way. I did not have any recollection of pre-authorizing a debit, and called Best Buy and spent an hour talking to 5 different people who couldn't find any record of our existence. So finally, but I had also contacted the bank immediately and saying that I should not have any pre-authorized debit other than the county has pre-authorized both credit and debit, and then we also have that relationship, of course, with paychecks so that we can do our payroll. So it's under investigation with the bank. The one thing I fear is that the local banker told me, well, you know, if you've been defrauded, we may have to close that account and open another account, and of course, we've just ordered checks, and we, you know, have the payroll and all of that. So I'm hoping that they find it. In my mind, it's the bank's fault. If the bank should have documentation for pre-authorization. If they don't have that, they know where they sent the money. So, I mean, it's under investigation, but that's a little troubling to me. It was about a $3,800.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why, yeah. It jumped off of the page very quickly.
Can I ask you a quick question here? How does that happen, this pre-authorization?
So in the case of, for example, the county or paychecks, there is documentation. When you have a relationship with a company that is going to direct deposit into your account or withdraw, you have to have some forms on file. They do that, and when they do that, they have to pre-authorize with the bank. They make sure that all the paperwork is there. We have no such relationship with Best Buy. So, and I don't even know that Best Buy got it, or if it's somebody masquerading as Best Buy. So, you know, so that's under investigation. I mean, we're not gonna bounce any checks or anything, but I'm certainly troubled by that happening.
Yeah, that's what.
Right. The exercise classes were down during the summer. I think I was reporting that. As fall kicked in and we had a couple of those very rainy and chilly days, we had a couple of days when only 3 people showed up. So we are back though this week. We've had 17 show up yesterday as well as last Friday. So all of that is back and everybody's back in exercise and fall mode. Updating on our meeting from last week, there's been a little bit more progress. I do have a line on somebody to cut the larger void for the time capsule, and I'm hoping that that's going to happen quickly, although they've been a little slow in coming to physically take a look at it. We have gotten at least one additional entry in the writing contest, and I've had a opportunity to finally hear from the choral director at Riverside Brookfield High School, and she's assured me that we will have a group here. The Masonic ritual has been reviewed that they plan to use, and it's not terribly long. It's very formalized, very ritualistic, but it is not too long to, no matter what kind of weather we're going to have. I'm hopeful for a color guard. I've got some prospects for the color guard and also some processing music. And I'm also hoping that, I've already spoken with the police and fire departments about the procession. They came to take a look at and discuss the map that I had submitted with the application to the village. They think that that can be taken care of very, very handily. They don't even think the street's going to have to be closed terribly long, and they've figured out, you know, how that's all going to work. And then I am also working on the invitations to elected officials and people who should have direct personal invitations, as well as we'll have a press release and ads and all that kind of thing. So the next few weeks are going to be pretty busy on that. I still need to follow up in Riverside Lawn. There's a few trees that I want to make sure are secured or taken down that are on our right-of-way before winter. And the bridge definitely is going to need a spring painting, and that I will start, investigating people to do that, but I also want to make sure that the engineering of the bridge is in good shape before we start that. And that's about all, but I'd gladly answer any questions that you might have.
I do have a couple questions. The farmer's market with the vouchers of redemption, do you consider that a success?
I think so. I think that, about 1/3 of the ones distributed were used. I didn't think that, and based on our prior experience, I think that's a pretty good return. And I expect that there will be a rush of some tomorrow, because we've been reminding people as they've been coming in lately, use them up, because next week's your last chance, or this week's your last chance. And a few people have said, oh yeah, I do need to get over there. So I think that there'll be some extra redemption. I think it's a success.
First year kind of.
Yeah, and understand that we upped the number that we gave everybody. Last time this was done, some 5 years ago, they got $10 worth a month, and this time they got 15. So some of them may have used 1 or 2 a month, but not all 3. So we'll take a look at it when it's all complete and see how we want to proceed next time.
So I will say that Peter over at Riverside Foods is interested in continuing the program, so maybe we investigate how we can partner that way.
Right, and that, in that case, I think I'll probably want to limit it a little bit more, because there's so much more variety there, and I want to issue different vouchers. I don't
Different
want them
vouchers.
dealing with the ones that have
I was
already
gonna
out
say,
there. Right, I
they
want to
can't
keep it
just
clean.
hoard 'em.
Right, so if this board approves, we can certainly use it for produce or eggs, the perishable items.
Right.
Through the winter, through Riverside Foods, if they're willing to do that. Any other questions?
Yeah, can we keep an eye on the exercise classes, and just compare, attendance and participation? And rather than look to cancel them, let's look to, promote them. I think we could do a better job of.
Well, no, and you know what, this is a seasonal thing that's happened in past years too, even when we were doing only 1 and then 2 days a week. It does, when people are able to go outside and do other things,
Right.
they don't come into the building to do their exercising. But it's been quite consistent. He actually, if we go much over 20, then it starts being too much to manage.
Right.
But we've been at 17 the last couple of days, and that's kind of actually the exercise instructor and staff play a little game every time, pre-guessing, okay, how many today, they look at the weather and all that. And it generally is somewhere between 14 and 18.
Good. I think it's very valuable that we do this, so as much publicity as we can get, the better.
Sure, absolutely.
Can I just add
Yeah.
something there? I think also our numbers were down this summer due to the construction here, because there was really no parking.
It was a problem.
And several people told me that they started to come and they drove around and couldn't find a parking place and just went home.
Yeah.
So I think that was a contributing factor to the smaller numbers
It
over
definitely
the
was.
summer.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I'd like to see a lot more publicity on that. I think it's great.
Okay,
Great
I will.
program.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need a lot more. I think, 17 is the instructor has always said that if it goes over 20, then I have to hire an assistant, because he feels he can't keep the class safe. By himself over 20. So I think, 17 is a great number. And if it does consistently drop below that, then we can think about doing some ads and stuff. But, we don't want to kind of oversell it
Right.
Right.
either.
And those people in the building pick up a lot of the flyers on the tables and all that, and we we hear back, oh, I picked it up at the table, and, you know, other entities that publicize there have also told us. People told us that they found it, you know, in the town hall, so. It all works together for all the community groups as well.
And then the last question is, how often do we anticipate having to paint the bridge?
Well, I was expecting that the last one would have gone longer. I think it's only been about 7 years. It should have lasted longer than that.
Can we write that into the contract?
Well, yeah, I will certainly, that's why I need some expertise to figure out
Right.
exactly what
As a
the
contractor.
expectation should be. My expectation would be greater than that. And
Right.
it's pretty bad right now, but I don't want to do it before winter and, you know, have it
I
just
just look at
damage
the
it.
high school football field, and the contractor completely screwed that up and got off scot-free. So I'd like to have some expectation of how long that's gonna last.
I have some doubts about the vendor that did it last time, whether the lowest bidder was really a responsible lowest bidder. I don't know that the experience was there for that kind of work. I think it's very different to, you know, paint certain aspects of a building from the outside as opposed to a metal suspension bridge that is going to move and shake and so forth, so.
Yep.
Well, a few years ago, just one guy bid and got the bid.
Yeah.
There
So
we
we
go,
need to
right?
have a better publicized bidding process, you know.
You know, and that did not work out.
Just saying, right?
Just saying that the one guy cannot paint that bridge.
Well, it's bad not to have a choice, so,
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
you're right. All right, any other questions? Very good, then we'll go to trustees' reports. Trustee Lupford, do you have anything to report?
I have nothing?
Okay, we do have, well, that's next, we have trustee Clark. What, do you have to share anything?
Senior lunch is tomorrow, so that's really all that I have.
Okay, and then if you could get us some details, I know that you just got back to town, but on upcoming events so that we can help promote. We did have one senior call recently complaining that she hasn't gotten any mailers about what was going on. I said,
Okay.
well, and I explained that you'd had some family issues
Yeah.
and that perhaps there was nothing mailed, but we told her that there was something happening tomorrow and
Okay, great, thanks.
yeah. And trustee Drapka? do you
No
have
report.
anything? Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we will go on mental health report. I can't fill in much, but you have their report that was provided to us. That the referral service finally came out with, it's not really a brochure, but it's a card that, that's promotional. It is on the table and in the rack out in the hallway, and they are going to be doing also a postcard, mailing it direct mail, like we do the newsletter, or like we did the direct mail note to seniors, but it's going to be going out to everybody in the township, or all the households in the township. So that should promote that better, because that's a little bit slow right now in its participation. I don't know if anybody has any other questions on that, but that's about all I can tell you. The unfinished business, I've reported in my supervisor's report, but this is a good place to point out that in our minutes, we agreed to have another meeting, and that will take place on the 22nd of the month, and that will be at 6 p.m. So please mark your calendars for the final before this fall event, committee of the whole meeting regarding that, and then we'll
What's
hit
that date again?
That's October 22nd.
Yeah, at
6.
6 o'clock,
6
I'm bringing the food.
Thank you. So dinner will be available
At what
and
time?
6.
6. So unless my football team gets immeasurably better, I will be here.
If they're in the playoffs, you won't.
Right.
All right, so, yeah, that is a Tuesday again, so, all right. And new business, we have a request for special use of the room from Carmen Gutierrez. Is there anyone here to speak to that by chance? No? Okay, so this is special use, and there will be both alcohol and food. That's why it's coming before this board. And this is for a wedding.
I make the motion that we approve the room request for Carmen Gutierrez, and I hope they have wonderful, many happy years.
I will second that.
Very good. I have a motion by trustee Drapka, seconded by trustee Lupfer, to approve the special room request for April 20th, 2020, for a wedding here in both the ceremony and the reception. Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to say that I think the township and the village can come together on having weddings and these kind of events at the township hall as a way for the Economic Development Commission to get involved. I think we could make partnerships this way. This is a great use of the space we have, and it's a wonderful way. Could you imagine having a $200 charge to hold a wedding? I mean, this is an awesome use of our space, and I'd like to see us partner with other local entities to make this happen.
Very good. There, certainly the nonprofit organizations in town are discovering us, and there's a lot of requests for the use of the hall for that. Very good.
I think with the wedding industry, it'll help local businesses as well, caterers, hairdressers, florists, that kind of thing. So I strongly encourage this use of the township hall.
Very good. Thanks very much. Then we have not voted on that, though, have we?
No roll call.
All right, so roll call because there's monetary thing involved. So,
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Lumpkin?
Yes,
Supervisor Wilt?
yes,
The motion is carried.
thank you very much. The next item is the township meeting dates and holidays for 2020. They're presented now, they don't have to be passed now, so if you want to think about any of that, it's based on custom. So you can see that right now, there's also a second page that opens it up for committee of the whole meetings to be on the first Tuesday each month. We certainly don't have to do that, but right now, I think that most of next year, we'll still need to have an additional meeting for the plans for the celebrations.
I have a question, and I think I brought this up last year and probably the year before that. How do we add holidays to this list?
Well, we could add holidays just by you saying so. We don't have to vote on this tonight, as I said. We can alter this. What kind of holidays would you like to see added?
Casimir Pulaski Day.
I thought it was on here,
I thought it was too.
but apparently we may have dropped Casimir.
I thought
It always had-
It's always been on here previously.
It has.
Yeah.
It's the
That
first
the
Monday
office
in
is
March, as I
closed?
recall, isn't it? The
Right.
first Monday
It
in
was
March.
this year, and we seemed to be the only, the school's no longer closed for it, the village no longer closed for it, so I think that we said, well, let's see. If you would like to have it added back in, that's fine, or we could also choose to give a floating holiday to the employees that they could call, if they want to take their birthday off or something like that. But if you'd like to add Casimir Pulaski back in, we can certainly do that.
I'd like to see it back in.
Any other opinions on that?
well, I'd like to add it to the agenda, or are we gonna vote
For-
on it now?
No, this is a proposal for next year, so we don't have to, if there's some changes you'd like to see, we can fix that up and vote on it next month.
So are we saying the committee of the whole meetings are happening on the first Tuesday of every month?
Until we get through the anniversary plannings.
Unless you know, I mean, this is up for discussion. We have planned them through the end of this year.
Right.
This is the time to start talking about if that's the optimal date, if there's a different day of the month that's better for us.
I would like to see, at least until the end of February, that we do it on a Monday or a Friday. I have commitments on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. Commitment going forward is still 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, so, half my Tuesdays is one thing, but if we could maybe move it to a Monday, I would appreciate that very much.
What does that look like for the room?
I don't think we typically have anything in here on Monday evenings.
My only request is whatever day we do it, that it be in the first week of the month, because,
Before our board.
before our board meetings, and then I plan as much as I possibly can my business travel for the third and fourth weeks.
Oh, okay.
So,
Now, this would be only from January on. If there's a change for November and December. we would-
After February, I'm fine.
Well, I
Till March,
understand that, but what
fine.
I'm saying is we've already publicized through the end of the year, the first Tuesdays, which can be changed. We certainly have time to do that, but what is the pleasure of the rest of the board? Are Mondays okay?
First Mondays are good. I think we need to float it past Trustee
Trustee
Heilenbach
Heilenbach.
first.
yeah, that's what.
And while we're still on this, since we're not anything's gonna be decided on these holidays and committees today because of Trustee Heilenbach, I'd like to add Lincoln's birthday to the list too here.
Well, we've done the
February.
combined President's Day, which is
Oh,
what's customary in the school districts. We've kind of tried to mirror the village and the schools.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, then I'll just go with Casimir Pulaski Dave. I get one shot at this, I'll just go with it.
Is the rest of the board okay with that?
I'm fine.
Okay. Other than that, next year, we are, well, actually, you will note, I think what happened to it, I think Christmas Eve replaced it. Because typically, I think we've worked on Christmas Eve and closed Christmas Day, but because it fell on a Thursday,
Then
We made it
it's like Thanksgiving, right, the Thursday, Friday, right?
well, this time it is.
Right.
I'd like to consider the days off as part of the employee compensation package, actually. I mean, if they're getting 14 days off of federally mandated, how does that work into sick days, vacation days, that kind of thing?
Their sick days are accumulated based
Right.
on
Well, I'm
work.
just saying that-
Vacation days are, they are earned each year on their anniversary,
Right.
so, currently.
You know, after we finish this anniversary plannings, we may only need to have committee of the whole meetings on grant months, the months that we
That's
issue
true.
grants.
Okay.
You know, I don't know, if they're necessary, you know, I'm fine
Right.
with them, but if they're not,
Well, and that would only be
I mean.
three remaining after the September events.
Oh, right, but yeah.
After that, right.
After that, so, you know, that might be an option for us to think about.
Okay. Very good. Any other discussion? Okay, then I'll take that back to clean that up, and we'll come back with it next month. And food pantry, this is the time that we start thinking about, because November would be too close to Thanksgiving, but do we want to do turkey dinners for Thanksgiving and ham or some such item for Christmas as well?
Yes,
Everybody's in favor of doing that?
absolutely, no. I know that we talked about last time, last year, we talked about the side items, right, or what was it? What were we talking about last year?
Well, last year, there was discussions about different kinds of, and we changed up a little bit what kinds of sides, like desserts and things like that. It used to be, oh dear, I think it was that they gave Jell-O for one, and I don't know, something
Yeah.
like that. And instead of Jell-O, I think we went with some baking
Yeah, so we're all good
supplies.
with everything then?
Right,
Okay.
right. I mean, if this range of expenditures works for you, then I do try to use local vendors for that. And last year, actually, we had good cooperation with Riverside Foods on at least the Christmas, and I think we got the turkeys from them then as well. Oh, no, turkeys were from Jewel, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's
But,
all
yeah.
good.
The hams, do we still want to do 36 hams if we only gave out 21?
Well, that's what we need to kind of, I think what we'll do is when we do the turkeys, we're going to inquire if people will be interested in the other and not order as many if they're,
But we got the freezer, right?
we do have the freezer. We do have the freezer. So,
got
I
the
mean,
deep freezer.
it's just that,
When
what do we
people
do with
want-
them then? You know,
Yeah, what
that's-
do we do with them?
We'll give the ones from last year out this year, and then,
No, those were already liquidated.
oh,
Says the newly married.
No, we don't hold them over for a
Right.
year.
That
In the past,
would be
when there was
gross.
leftovers,
they
weren't
go.
they given
We
to
have given them
Freeze it
either
indefinitely.
to,
USDA says
the
so.
fire or the police?
we've given them to fire departments, police departments.
Ah,
and,
gotcha. Then,
Mostly
yeah,
fire
let's
because
get-
they feed them there.
Yeah, order this the same 36,
Right, or we
'cause then we
cooperate with
can-
another charitable organization.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, same
Maybe
thing
we
then.
could give to Presbyterian Food Bank.
Right,
Follow
they might
along.
wanna do a
Tis the
community
season,
dinner
right?
with some of it this
Yeah.
time.
I think that's a great idea, is
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
left over, they do a community
Right,
dinner.
right,
And that's on the second Sunday of the month.
right, so. Alrighty, then I have your approval. Does somebody wanna make a motion that we go forward with that again?
I move that we go forward with the amounts indicated here on the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, a motion by trustee Lupfer, second by trustee Clark, to go ahead with similar numbers. Obviously, I shop what the best purchases I can make for these items. And is there any other discussion? If not, then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. It's not a specific expenditure, so it's fine, not going for a roll call. Okay, and then we have, as I mentioned, this report is for your perusal. That's under FYI, but we will have an additional expense. I did not hear back yet as to what that expenditure will be, but I'm sure it's not going to be a terribly expensive thing
Do
to
we
do
need a
this one more
motion?
report. I would appreciate the authorization to do that expenditure, yes.
I make a motion that we approve the expenditure for the annual treasurer's report to be done by Selden Fox.
I have a motion by trustee Clark to approve the expenditure, whatever that may come out to be, to do the ODD report, or DDO report, sorry, the debt, the DDO report for the county. Do I hear a second? I have a motion and a second to approve and authorize the expenditure for the auditors to do that additional report. And would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes,
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you. And as I said, this is the report that's been posted. This is the one that you're familiar with a lot of government entities providing, where it shows the range of expenditures. We have a trustees division meeting next week. You should have received notice under Sign Up Genius. And please let me know, because this has to be reserved by, I believe, tomorrow. So if anyone else is interested in going to this event, Trustee Heilenbach has indicated an interest. Is anyone else planning to go to the trustees meeting next week?
I'll let you
No?
know tomorrow.
No? Okay, then there will just be the two of us. Thank you very much. And also, I did send out a reminder to all of you. I hope that you, if you plan to go to Springfield for the November Township Officials of Illinois meeting, that you can let us know as soon as possible. If you are going and want to stay at one of their hotels, you have to get that in the hotel reservation form, the housing form in. It is due this week, so it's due by tomorrow. You can do it online. It's a very quick read. Does anybody think that they're going to be going to that? You will. Are you staying at one of their hotels, or you have a
No, I
preferred
stayed
hotel?
downtown.
Right. All right, so then, and the assessor is also going, so.
Good.
There will be three of us there. Maybe we can even bring the flag this time for the parade of flags. There'll be three of us.
I signed up to go, but do I need to sign up for the awards banquet the awards breakfast and the banquet?
Each of those, yeah, everybody has to make a separate reservation. We can do it on your behalf if you want us to reserve it. I already made my reservation online, but if you, and you two, did you reserve already?
Yeah, I did. I'll do this.
Yeah, so you can get reimbursed for it, or if you want us to do it in advance, let me know.
Okay.
All right, we can talk about it tomorrow perhaps. All righty. And so we are up to the approval of warrants. Trustee Dropko, will you?
I move that the board authorize and ratify payment of the bills identified in the general warrant in the amount of $22,507.80 as presented to the board today on October 8th.
And I'm looking at that, and I know it says 80, but I'm not sure. Is that an 80 or a 60?
80.
It is 80? Okay.
It says.
Yeah, I know, I'm looking on the fine print. Okay, thank you. I have a motion. Do I hear a
It says
second?
60.
It looks like 60 now. It looked like 80 before, but now.
Is it
it's-
60
I
or
think
80?
it's
Looks like
60.
60 to me.
Yeah,
What does it look like to you?
22,507.60.
For the which one?
22,507.60.
For the general warrant.
60, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That
All right.
looks like a 60 to me.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Drapka, seconded by trustee Clark, to approve the general warrants for October 2019 in the amount of $22,507.60. Would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark,
Yes.
trustee Drapka,
Yes.
trustee Lupfer,
Yes.
supervisor Wilt,
Yes.
motion is carried.
I move that the board ratify and authorize payment in the amounts indicated on the following warrants. Utility warrant of $998.47, payroll warrant in the amount of $16,935.07, health warrant in the amount of $1,693.58, general assistance warrant in the amount of $1,725.00, Township radio players warrant in the amount of $977.78. Food pantry warrant in the amount of $146.11. All the above presented to the board today, October 8th.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Drapka, seconded by trustee Lupfer, to approve the following warrants. The utility warrant in the amount of $998.47. The payroll warrant in the amount of $16,935.07. The health warrant in the amount of $1,693.58. The general assistance warrant in the amount of $1,725. the Township radio players warrant in the amount of $977.78, and the food pantry warrant in the amount of $146.11. Would you please call the roll?
Trustee Clark?
Yes.
Trustee Drapka?
Yes.
Trustee Lupfer?
Yes.
Supervisor Wilt?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. So, hearing nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn this beautiful meeting.
Second.
A motion by trustee Drapka, seconded by trustee Clark, to adjourn this evening's meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Go home and get some sleep.